Okay, I'm about to ruin dandruff for you in the best possible way. That little white flake that just drifted down onto your shoulder, it is not dry skin. It's not dryness at all. It's the leftover mess from something that is alive, something crawling around on your head right now by the millions. And here's the part that genuinely messed with my head when I first learned it. The cheap fix sitting in a lot of bathroom cabinets is tied by actual chemistry to a medicine doctors hand out for fungal infections. Same chemical family. So before you grab another $20 bottle that does nothing, give me 10 minutes, because once you see what's really happening up on your scalp, you will never look at a flake or a bottle of castor oil the same way again. So let's name the culprit. Living on your scalp right now is a yeast called Malassezia. Not some creepy invader. It's there on basically everybody. But here's the number that stopped me cold. A single human head can carry up to 10 million of these little organisms. 10 million on the thing you're using to listen to me right now. And scientists take it seriously. Back in 2007, they sequenced its entire genome and found over 4,000 genes, including about a dozen enzymes whose only real job is breaking down the oil on your head, a toolkit built specifically for your scalp. And dandruff, depending on how you count it, shows up in somewhere between 30 and 95% of people at some point. So if you've got it, congratulations, you are spectacularly normal. Now here's where it gets weird, and this is the part most people get completely backwards. This yeast can't make its own fat. It cannot survive without eating oil. So what does it do? It feeds on the natural sebum on your scalp, cracks that oil open with its enzymes, and leaves behind these irritating leftover fatty acids. For some people, the scalp shrugs it off, but if you're one of the sensitive ones, your skin reacts to those leftovers. It panics, cells pile up too fast, clump together, and flake off before they're ready. So the flakes aren't dryness, they're your scalp throwing a tantrum over a fungus's table scraps. Wild, right? Okay, so why am I pointing you at castor oil specifically and not just any random bottle in the cabinet? And before you write it off as a trendy bathroom shelf fad, this stuff is ancient. The Egyptians used it thousands of years ago, and the story goes Cleopatra herself reached for it. Castor oil is strange in a useful way. It's about 90% one single fatty acid called ricinoleic acid, and that molecule has a little chemical hook on it that most oils just don't have. That quirk makes it a part water-loving and part oil-loving at once, which is a fancy way of saying it sinks into skin better than your average oil, instead of sitting on top like a greasy raincoat. And ricinoleic acid has been shown, going all the way back to a study from 1961, to push back on yeast, bacteria, and mold. It's also got a calming anti-inflammatory side. So you've got one thing that may quiet the fungus and soothe the angry, itchy skin at the same time. A double agent. But here's the fact I really wanted to tell you, the one that made me sit straight up. You know those over-the-counter antifungal creams, the ones for athlete's foot and ringworm sitting on the pharmacy shelf? A lot of them rely on something called undecylenic acid, is FDA-approved as an actual antifungal medicine. And where does undecylenic acid come from? Castor oil. You heat the ricinoleic acid in castor oil, it breaks apart, and one of the pieces is this approved fungus fighter. Even stranger, your own body already makes a trace of it in your sweat. So a close chemical cousin of what's in that cheap little bottle is the same stuff doctors point at fungal infections every single day. That's not folklore, that's chemistry. Now, I can already hear a few of you. Wait, isn't castor stuff poisonous? Isn't that the ricin thing? Good instinct. And the answer is no, not the oil. The toxic part, ricin, is a protein that stays locked in the leftover seed pulp after the oil gets pressed out. It doesn't ride along into the bottle. So the castor oil on your scalp is not going to do you dirty. Breathe. And don't forget the other half of this, because plenty of you aren't dealing with fungus drama at all. You've just got a dry, tight, itchy scalp that flakes the second you scratch it. Castor oil is genuinely good here too. It's thick and packed with fatty acids, so it forms a soft film over the skin that slows water escaping. Think of it less like a moisturizer that adds water and more like a lid that keeps the water you've already got from evaporating away. Pair that sealing effect with the anti-inflammatory side, taking the edge off the itch, and a dry, cranky scalp can settle down a lot. All right, so how do you actually use the stuff? Lean in because the details matter way more than people think. First, and please do not skip this, castor oil is ridiculously thick, almost honey thick. Using it straight is a mistake, so I cut it. Roughly half castor oil, half something lighter. Jojoba, sweet almond, even plain coconut or olive oil all work fine. That thins it out so it spreads instead of gluing your hair into a clump. Warm it gently, stand a little bowl in some warm water for a few seconds, just enough that it pours easy. Then patch test. Dab a bit on the inside of your elbow and wait a day. Scalps can be drama queens and you want to find that out on your arm, not your head. Now the application. Part your hair into sections so you can reach the scalp because that's the target, the skin, not the ends of your hair. Use your fingertips, run the oil along each part line, and massage gently for 2 or 3 minutes. That massage isn't just for show, it spreads the oil and gets blood moving. Leave it on about 30 minutes to an hour. You can go longer, even wrap your head in a warm towel, but don't soak your head and fall asleep in it, and I'll tell you exactly why in about 10 seconds. Then wash it out. Heads up, because it's so thick, 1 round of shampoo usually won't cut it. Plan on 2 gentle passes. And do this maybe once or twice a week, not daily. More is not better here, trust me. Okay, that promise I made you. Here's the part nobody mentions, and it's a real one. There's a documented medical case published in a journal, not some rumor, of a young woman who put thick castor oil on long hair, washed it out with warm water, and her hair fused, tangled into a hard, matted mass that doctors literally had to cut off her head. They've got a name for it, acute hair felting, a bird's nest, basically. It's rare, but the recipe for it is exactly the trap you'd fall into without thinking. Very thick oil, long hair, hot water, and a lot of rubbing or piling your hair on top of your head while you're washing. So the fix is dead simple. Dilute the oil, like I said, keep the water lukewarm, don't scrub your hair into a bun while it's full of oil, and use less than you think you need. Respect how thick it is, and this will never happen to you. So where does this leave us? Castor oil is a genuinely clever helper. It may quiet the yeast, soothe the itch, seal in moisture, and it's tied by real chemistry to an actual antifungal drug. That's a lot of value for one cheap bottle. But I'll be straight with you because that's what a good friend does. It's a helper, not a cure. If your dandruff is stubborn, the proven heavy hitters are still a real antifungal shampoo, the kind with ketoconazole, zinc, or selenium. And castor oil plays nicely right alongside them. And if your scalp is red, raw, painful, or just won't quit no matter what you throw at it, go see a dermatologist. No oil replaces a real set of eyes on the problem. And be patient. This is not a one-wash miracle. Even the medicated stuff tells you to give it about 4 weeks, so give the oil that same fair shot before you judge it. Honestly, snap a quiet little photo of your shoulder today, then again in a month, because progress this slow is almost impossible to notice day to day. Real quick before you go, if any of this was actually useful to you, do me one tiny favor and drop a comment that just says yes. That's it. 1 word. It tells me these honest, no-hype breakdowns are landing, and it genuinely motivates us to keep making more videos like this one for you. Because for that everyday flake, that tight, itchy scalp, that little snowfall on your shoulder, now you finally know what's really going on up there, and you've got a smart, cheap tool to do something about it. Give it a shot. Your shoulders will thank you.